City of Stevens Point Historic Preservation Design Review Commission meeting, recorded June 12, 2025.
Call to order the Historic Design Review Commission for June 12th, 6 o'clock. Roll call. Sir?
Siebert?
Here.
Monk?
Here.
Christensen, I don't see at the moment. Kelnan?
Here.
Malevsky? I don't see. Finn is excused. And Chris? Here. We have a
Actually,
quorum.
she's in France.
Carol?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then excused.
Okay, number 2, report of the April 16th meeting of Historic Design Review Commission. Any questions or additions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to accept as written.
I move to accept as written.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Barry, thank you. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 3, pardon me, a request from Ryan Wanta representing Wesley Cabral and Susy Ibrahim for design review to construct a building addition on the property located at 1900 Clark, consistent with Chapter 22.05.
Yeah. I'll just provide a quick summary, and then Ryan, if you can hear me, I'll kick it over to you to provide.
Someone just came online.
Yep, that's the applicant.
Okay, good.
So I'll just provide a quick summary, and then Ryan, hopefully you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yeah, great.
Okay, we're just echoing pretty bad. So I'll just give a quick background. So the applicant, as the chair mentioned, is looking to construct a building addition. This would be on the north side of the house here. This house is located on the northeast corner of Clark Street and Phillips Street. Included in the packet highlights really the main design standards pertaining to building additions onto an existing historic structure. I think the big ones to really keep in mind will be, there we go. The big ones that will come to mind, I would say, would be that any sort of historic structure, you hear this a lot, any sort of addition, you hear this a lot, especially in the commercial realm, is that it has to complement but try not to mimic the existing historic integrity of that building, making sure that it has some subtle contrast, but overall that more modern design still is compatible with that of the existing historic structure. And then the second one being is that when applicable, try to orient the addition in a way that's not as visible from the public street. Obviously, this property is a little bit more challenging given that it's a corner lot, but I think that this addition does a nice job of augmenting that towards the rear of the property. Right, most of the architectural features that are relevant for the structure are located off of Clark Street and then secondary off of Phillips. So at least this does a nice tone to kind of more pay homage to the more relevant features of the house, more on the south side of the building. So with that, I'll actually then kick it over to Ryan, the applicant, as I referenced earlier, and I'll have him provide a summary. And then Ryan, I did put you on mute earlier, just since I had some kickback, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
It's probably going to get really noisy here, so I'm going to try to be brief. Obviously, what you're looking at is addition, and we're requesting approval on it. We want to do something that matches the aesthetic of the district and the home, which is kind of a hodgepodge of different historical styles. Anyways, the main thought here was to also repaint the entire house, have it match the existing colors, and also do some repairs. We have some columns that need replacing on the west portico, and this is a great opportunity to get everything all in one go. The main problem with why they're doing this project is that this house was built without a kitchen originally. So it was hodgepodge together over the years. It's very, very small, very tight, very ineffective. And in order to not disturb any of the other rooms, which are really quite grand and beautiful, the only result would be that we put an addition to the back of it. So that is what caused this thing to happen is just the need of practicality. Also, there's no bathroom anymore on the main floor, so the only one available to the unit is on the upstairs. So that was another challenge. So we are using the existing kitchen area for that bathroom and expanding for the kitchen. I don't know, are there any questions?
Questions?
Wherever you are, I just wanted to grab back to
No questions, no.
Ryan, real quick, did you want to could you touch on the recent change that you made to the plan set that you sent over to me yesterday? Just since that wasn't addressed in the agenda packet.
Yeah, when we were looking at it closely, we realized that they're the most recent windows that went into the house and that will be visible in the,
Thank you.
they will be visible in the, from the interior are vinyl windows. So just to be able to make sure we match everything and meet our budget, we are requesting that we can get permission to use the vinyl windows that are matching.
I can't understand it.
Permission to use
And-
vinyl windows.
And also the fascia. You know, we were looking at it and we're thinking that maybe it was just too much of a challenge to try to match it exactly. So we thought instead of going for the exact replica, we thought we'd follow the standards and try to make it stand out just a little bit by itself, but still blend and do just go with the standard trim situation there.
And I'll add, there are a few components of this project that is more so considered a minor work, i.e. Administrative approval or administrative review would be all that's required. I think the big one that stands out was the paint color selection. So that's something that's been worked on in the back end of the team and the applicant to make sure that obviously the appropriate color is selected that is ultimately on your approved color palette.
Right.
Didn't we nix vinyl windows?
Yeah, that too. Just not having really the available colors that are, you know, sort of existed was kind of an issue for us. We couldn't find any really great whites, and we really liked the way that it looked and thought that just maintaining the style and the colors would be good.
Is all-
Anyways, I've got to wrap up. Just my part. I can text from here on, so.
Any change would have to be written.
He's got to go.
if that helps you.
So you mentioned a change in the fascia. Is that changing from what it is existing?
All right, let's keep the rain off you guys here.
Well, yeah, from what's existing near the top of the roof, on the existing structure, there's a more complicated like frieze of like different pieces of wood paneled together, one on top of another with some trim work.
Okay.
And we just thought simplifying it and using existing siding would be appropriate.
Just to clarify, where are we talking? All around or just in a certain location where you're building?
Just where we're building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see on my drawings too, I pointed out where we're going to, you know, what it's going to.
So if you can see on the screen, Barry, kind of where my cursor is circling, that's where
Right.
the
I see.
addition is.
No, I understand that. I just didn't understand if he was talking the entire building or just
Okay.
the new structure.
Okay.
And that would follow in with exactly what you said,
Found that
modernizing.
out because we had to fill them all with distilled water this year.
Still keeping
Yep.
it within the guidelines, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
Anything else for anybody? What's his name, Ryan?
Right.
Ryan, you have anything else?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. I would entertain a motion then to accept the proposal for the change on this house.
I'll
Barry, thank you.
do that.
A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any last second questions? Seeing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, sir. Motion passed.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for such a well-done package, by the way.
Well, appreciate that too.
Great.
Helps everybody get on the same page quicker, literally.
Sedona, that's my daughter.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
Okay, number 4. A request from Dave Ladick for a design review to paint a mural on the north-facing wall of the building located at 2012-16 Strongs Avenue.
Yeah.
Mr. Ladick, or...
Yeah, I'll probably add a quick summary, and then I'll kick it over to you, Dave, if you want to talk more about the aviation component of the mural. But as folks on the commission may recall, a couple years back, we as a commission and ultimately Common Council as a whole adopted a mural ordinance establishing some teeth to how this commission reviews mural requests. Prior to that, really the only standards was that it's not a sign, right, since there is a clear differentiation between that of a mural and a sign. Here, add some more teeth pertaining to how murals are affixed onto a building wall itself, while also addressing some of the long-term maintenance items that have been of issue for some of the murals in the past. And then lastly, identify more so the historical component of what that mural is depicting. So before I kick it over to the applicant, the one thing I will mention, there are a couple of conditions in my recommendation to approve that will be on the top of page 23. These are taken straight from the mural ordinance, identifying some of the required submittals or required information as part of approving a mural request, that being one, that the applicant submits a maintenance plan, more so identifying who's going to take care of maintaining the mural in the future. Is it the property owner, or is it the artist who's painting the mural? Number 2 would be identifying who's ultimately responsible for removing the mural if such time that is requested. And then 3rd being photographic documentation that the applicant would provide to myself once the mural is painted, really to establish that baseline, and then if future conversations occur down the road, that at least in terms of maintenance that may be required by the city, that at least we have that photographic documentation of how it looked at the time of painting. So, Dave, I will kick it over to you if you wanted to provide some thoughts. Oh, sure. Up to the podium.
Give your names, please.
So I also love my both prepared package.
Sure.
Be lovely.
Thank you.
Dave Ladick, 4517 Nicolay Avenue, and this is Jenny Leela, and she is the artist that came up with this design, and actually she sought me out. I think she was driving around town maybe and looking for places to put a mural. You can tell the story.
I grew up in Stevens Point. I've lived here on and off my entire life, and I've had my eye on his wall for a long time. It has always looked like it could use some color.
Yeah, it definitely was a little.
Sorry.
Was an eyesore.
Yeah, and especially now that there has been so much construction and changes with the mall being taken down and the open parking lot and more traffic with the patio going up behind Goose and the Fox Theater having all of this. It's about to have a lot more traffic. It looks like it's going to become a much more high traffic area, and having something other than a gray concrete wall could be a big improvement and add some color to town.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of confidence in Jenny, so what she's done so far has been very commendable. So I started flying here in college in 1978, and so I've been a pilot in Stevens Point for almost 50 years, not quite. So wanted to stick with an aviation theme, and that's what I asked her to come up with if I was going to do something, and I was really happy with the design that she came up with. So,
How are you going to incorporate those, the pipes or electrical circuitry or whatever those things are?
With my design here, the photograph on the screen is not representing as well, but the way it's meant to be laid out as a historical postcard. So the main image is like the front of a historical postcard that you would get with the aviation, beautiful, and on the back is kind of the stamps on the back is represented in the narrow space between the pipes, and I would use the pipes as kind of the edging of the back of the postcard. And so the narrow space that does not have the pipes going over it would have the stamps and the smaller image that you see on the lower right.
Okay.
And we did get, we have painted the back wall in preparation for the mural. And so all those pipes are painted a standard color that was approved at a prior meeting, including the meters. Yep.
So I can either use just the lower pipe in the design and paint stripes around it as though that were the edge itself of the pipes. Otherwise, it will just be, I can either paint over it. That's if I heard that there might be an issue that we're only supposed to paint 70% of the wall. If that's the case, I could leave the whole area blank. Otherwise, I can artistically incorporate it into the design of the postcard.
Yeah, so in our mural ordinance, we do have limitations for the percentage, so that 70% is correct. And that's really just intended to be that, we've seen this obviously for more of our older murals, that there's a reason why you don't paint the entire wall of a building, that being you need obviously a certain component, a certain portion of that wall left exposed, so on a day like today when we have moisture, that there's ample ability for the brick to breathe essentially. Gotcha. So yeah, incorporate at least obviously that 30% as you see fit.
Okay.
So, and just let me know then what portion of that you're going to be left.
Okay.
That's going to be left as unexposed.
Great.
What the wall looks like now, that's painted.
Oh, okay. Would it be possible to incorporate local stuff into this? The guy that's standing next to the airplane, say a picture of Kazimierz Sikorsky or something?
Yes, I believe these are all historical images directly from Stevens Point.
They are.
Historical Airlines. My reference images. The card itself, let me pull up my image here, was taken from a postcard representing Stevens Point.
Okay.
But if you want any further historical.
No, that's all right. I'm just curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a picture of Kazimierz standing in front of an airplane almost exactly like what you've got here.
That might be my reference image. Okay. And if, I can certainly change the figure to be more exact. This is meant as the mock-up, but it was just the little round part of this. The postcard stamp is a Stevens Point, mailed from Stevens Point airplane carrier mail. And then the very bottom stamp also is a Stevens Point specific stamp.
Oh, okay.
With the forward flag and a badger on the Wisconsin. It's hard to see in my tiny little design, but once it's larger, you will definitely see it.
Yeah, that might be a better.
The same with the white stamp postcard thing on the right postcard. That was directly a sign, a historical sign for airplane rides. It says airplane rides again available, Stevens Point Municipal Airport, and that was for I don't know what year that was for. 1943 was the stamp. So it may have been around the same year.
Questions?
What year was that building put up?
1985.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
I just wanted that kind of on the record. Yeah, the only issues I think we've had recently is the bricks from the 1800s.
Right.
They are so porous that they do everything in their power to spit off paint.
Oh.
What type of paint do you plan on using?
I'll be using Sherman-Williams exterior paint.
It's all latex?
A latex paint, so it is breathable. It should adhere well to the primer that they used.
Okay.
I don't think we should do a surface coat because of that breathability. It actually, the varnish coat over the top can actually yellow over time and trap moisture. So, and then it also makes it easier for touch-ups and repairs to not have a varnish coat over the top or a sealant coat.
Any cinder block from 1985 is going to be pretty solid, so. No.
And the SDS painted the back wall a week ago, and they did use a black filler on it also.
Okay.
What are on the back wall, there's these, I don't know, things that go up and to the right? What are those?
It's where my cursor is kind of, if you can.
It's like the little brackets.
That ties
Yeah.
the roof in.
Yeah, that's the ceiling
Roof
ties,
ties.
or the roof ties.
Oh, it is, okay.
Because the roof is slanted like that to the east.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not a big deal, I'm just actually looking for clarification. If we're only supposed to paint 70% and the primer is covering the entire wall, does that mean that the painting can cover the entire wall too? I mean, I don't care, it doesn't bother me one way or the other if it's going to breathe, but if we're worried about breathability with just 70%, but the primer that's on there already covers the whole thing, can she just make it bigger?
You can. I mean, ultimately, it's up to the commission. The commission has the ability to grant special exceptions to our mural ordinance. So if you feel that because of the age of the building, that it's newer, it's not, as Barry mentioned earlier, if you feel that covering 100% is more appropriate given the age of this building, then it would be within your right to grant that special exception.
It's kind of a technicality. Behind that facade, where the roof line is, on the other side, it's just bare brick, correct? It's open to the, like if you stood on the roof and looked up to the end wall, it would be bare cinder block, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to have that breathability on the upper end of the cinder block anyway. On the opposite
inside,
side.
you're talking.
Yeah, on the opposite side,
Yeah.
because it's just open to the environment. The roof line, as you see, goes through about 70%. So, and it's a newer building.
And
The only reason that's really a concern about the 70%, in my understanding, is if you seal the outside and the inside has the humidity for humans, it has nowhere to go. This, at least, if it gets into that core, which is a hollow core, it can move up, and it does have a whole big section there where it could breathe, although I really don't think cinder block of that age will really breathe a lot, so.
And we did use a latex paint when we initially painted it too, so.
I do have one question. There's that stain that goes kind of down the middle.
Yeah,
Is that
so-
going to be a problem?
Well, we washed most of it off, so.
So it doesn't recur?
No, what it was when they originally built the building, they didn't have the end caps, the top end cap wasn't flushed over very good.
Okay.
And so I had it redone twice. And I think we solved the problem now.
Okay.
So we made them go over the ends because they can't get steel that long because it's like 30 feet.
Okay.
So we flushed it over, sealed it really well, and then we actually extended down further and put a little kick out on it. So, and that was all from that flashing joint that was there.
Okay.
So then we power washed it, and most of it came off except for just a little bit way on the top.
Okay.
So it looks good now.
Any further questions?
No, I like the design. Just want to put that on the record.
I'll just add real quick, if there is a desire to grant that exception pertaining to how much of the wall can be covered with the mural, just make note of that in the motion, if that's a desire amongst the commission.
I think it'd be cool to be bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if the wall, if it's a choice between this awesome mural or just more brown, I say we just fill it up,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
You want to make a motion to that effect?
I can.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the mural as designed with the exception that we exceed the 70% ordinance. I think that's it, right?
Would that be a problem for you?
No, that's wonderful.
Would you want to put in the consideration of the age of the building? That is the
As a
reason we're doing
factor?
that?
I think for reference sake, it would be appropriate, yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to get someone saying, why couldn't we do it on our building that's from the 1850s? So,
Okay. With
just noting.
yeah, noting that the age of the building allows for breathability, and it shouldn't be a problem as opposed to an older building.
Yeah, the breathability is not a concern, or the breathability of the bricks is not a concern. Yes?
And breathability of the bricks is not a concern.
What then is the motion?
My motion is to approve the mural as designed, with the exception of exceeding the 70% rule because of the age of the building, when breathability will not be a problem.
Okay. Second, please.
I will second that.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny can go to work now.
Yeah, you're going to work it out for you.
I would like to say, though, that if you have access to good quality photographs of Kashmir or anything else,
I have a
that
whole book on Kashmir.
that would be fantastic. I
The
would love to
reason I
look
brought
at
that
it
up-
since I will be having more detail blown up to 100%.
Okay. How do I get that to you? There's, at the University Archives,
Oh, great.
the book is there.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
You can keep this.
I guess.
There's
Should I
that picture,
con-
the drawing that you have here, just reminds me of a picture in that book of him standing in front of the plane.
And it might be the same picture that I found on the internet, just doing a
Could
search
be.
for aviation in Stevens Point, but having a specific photograph, and I like history anyways. So should I go to the university to find it, or should I contact you?
It'll be at the university,
Okay,
in the
great.
book on Kashmir. We did a
Wonderful.
biography of him.
Okay, great, thank you.
And one question for Adam. I did send you that email about the maintenance.
Correct,
And
yeah.
that was okay.
Yeah, that's all that I would need.
All right, okay.
Yep.
We'll get you a picture when it's all done. And if it gets too hot in midsummer, she's not gonna, I know you're gonna start now, you
I
think?
would start probably on Monday.
On Monday,
The
okay.
approval, and try to have it
Yeah.
finished within 2 weeks is my
Yeah, right.
large goal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, come July, it might become too hot
Right.
and humid to paint, and I would wait until September.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays dry for the next few
Yeah.
days.
Exactly.
Should be working early
So
mornings.
We'll see if the weather is in favor.
Thank you.
All right, very good, thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Okay, you got any last minute things? No?
All good.
Okay, I guess we are adjourned.
6:28 PM.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.